You guys, Austin McBroom is calling Catherine out, saying that she's manipulating the situation of their divorce and everything that went on in her book. I didn't even know if these sample pages were real, but Austin is basically confirming that it's real because he's talking about, I did cheat, and he's defending his name against some of the things that were said. Catherine's boyfriend is even responding to Austin, calling him out. It's a whole big situation, and we are going to get into everything. Austin McBroom responded to the leaked 3 chapters of Catherine's book that she announced was coming out in July. Honestly, like I said, I didn't even know if these pages were real for sure, but Austin has come out to address what was written, and it's crazy that he's admitting to cheating on Catherine, but he's also calling her out for cheating at the end of their relationship and for using and feeling like the kids are in danger. So let's start at the beginning of the video, because Austin first says that he doesn't understand why Catherine even wrote this book, saying that it's an autobiography, so he was upset that he was even being mentioned. He just didn't understand.
I don't know about you guys, but I find it very odd that the first chapter of her book is about me and not about her. It's about me and how I was a terrible person and a terrible husband, when this book is supposed to be an autobiography about her life. It could have been about anything else. She talks about her family in the book. She talks about Oscar. She talks about her new guy. But she wanted to use me in this snippet to reel everybody in for clickbait and to monetize from the book.
He says he's so upset because they were in such a good place, like best friends, and have a better relationship than when they were an actual couple, which this is important to note because the way that he comes for her later on, it's interesting that he says they were so good, because it sounds like later on when he's talking about how their relationship was, he was actually concerned about some of the things that she was doing. So it's like, which one is it? Like, were you on good terms, or were you concerned for your children's safety? Like, which one is it?
Catherine and I have the best co-parenting situation that any parent can ever ask for. We actually have a better relationship now than we did when we were married. I look at Catherine as a best friend, someone that I talk to every day, not just about our kids, but about life. She called me last week about her boyfriend, how he had a homeless guy sleeping in his car. I was just over her house bringing the kids pizza, not just the kids, but her and her boyfriend pizza. We were all sitting in her living room eating the pizza, laughing and smiling.
Austin then talks about when they split up and how he wanted to post a video explaining why, and Catherine said no. He said that he filmed one by himself and that he didn't end up posting it because Catherine didn't want him to, but he does show a little clip of it here where it seems like he is admitting to having cheated on Catherine.
When we went through our separation and we decided to announce it to the world, her and I were trying to figure out what was the best way of doing it. I felt the best way of doing it was coming out with a YouTube video together, her and I side by side. And I even told her that, hey, I'll do all the talking, I'll take full accountability for my actions and all the mistakes that I've made. I said, you don't have to say anything if you don't want. Even though you've made mistakes and I've made mistakes, I'll go ahead and take all the blame. She didn't want to do that. So it left me with no choice but to make my own video. I decided to make my own YouTube video, and in that video, I basically exposed myself. I did make this video. It caused me to seek it elsewhere. It caused me to make bad decisions. I admit, I failed as a husband.
Austin then pulls out voice recordings of Catherine in an effort to prove before that she had said she didn't want him to explain his cheating because he would get backlash. So he's confused as to why she would suddenly come out now and expose him, and he's just confused, like, oh, before you didn't want me to get called out, but now that you can like monetize from it, you want to call me out? I'm also not going to play the voice recordings because it's illegal to record someone without their permission in the state of California. So that is also something that confuses me about this. Like, did she know she was being recorded? It didn't really seem like it, but also like, I'm pretty sure he knows that law. So him playing this is very interesting.
She didn't want me to post it, and this is what she had to say about it. Also want you guys to know that I'm going to have receipts throughout this entire video. And the reason why I have some of these receipts is because I knew that one day there was a possibility of something like this happening. Here is a recording which was on January 13th, which was the day after I filmed this video. And this was her response on why she felt I shouldn't post the video. So as you heard what she said that if I was gonna release this video, I would get a lot of backlash, as if she cared about me getting backlash. What is happening now?
Austin later accuses Catherine of manipulating the truth, especially when talking about the Ace family charity event, which according to the pages that leaked from her book, she claimed that she found out Austin had invited a girl to that event. And Austin claims that that is not true. And he talks about how Catherine wrote about how Austin made her feel that day, about him not being affectionate and her just not feeling very wanted. And he claims he was affectionate that day.
I had another girl there that I was supposedly talking to, and I was cheating on her with, when that is not true at all. Think about this. Why would I invite another girl there when this whole event is about my family and this event is about me and Catherine's bond? Why would I want that girl to see that? Me hugging and kissing and grabbing my wife's ass, me holding my wife's hand. Very unfortunate and sad, because now she turned one of our biggest moments as a family and as a brand into a mockery.
Then when he finally addresses the cheating, he says it's because he felt he had permission, and says that Catherine knew the whole time, so he doesn't know why she was writing about not having any idea.
When it comes to me stepping out of my marriage, I 100% stepped out of my marriage, and it was completely wrong for me to do it. I take full accountability. If I can go back and change it, I would. And I'm sorry for that. I truly am. But when it comes to her acting like she had no idea what was going on, that is a complete lie. Catherine knew what I was dealing with for a very long time. I would come to her and I would voice how I feel about how I felt like I was getting no affection from her. There was a year period where we had no sex, and I would vent to her telling her what I needed. And her exact words verbatim, all my kids, she said, "Just don't make me look dumb. Don't embarrass me." I don't know what that means to you guys, but to me it sounds like, go do whatever you need to do, because I'm not capable of giving you what you need. So Catherine tells you guys that back in 2018, 2019, I basically ruined her life because I stepped out of our marriage and she had no idea, when that is not true at all. She knew exactly what I was doing and when I was doing it.
Austin then tries to use old videos against her to say that she talked highly of him and defended his name, knowing what he was doing outside of their marriage.
So much to where she stayed with me another 5-6 years after that. She continued to film every YouTube video with me after that. She even went as far as defending me, defending my name when people would ask her about me stepping out. Even to where a few months after that event of her being so hurt, that a few months later, she even says, I'm her soulmate.
My soulmate, I know for a fact that it's Austin.
So someone that is so hurt and so embarrassed and so unseen, a few months later that this video was recorded, you can go and check it out on our YouTube channel, she says that I'm her soulmate and life partner.
I mean, I do think people choose to stay with their partners doing them wrong sometimes, and then once they're outside of that relationship, they can change their minds, or, you know, just see the relationship differently and have different feelings about how they were treated and how things went down. But Austin is not understanding that. Now, moving on, we get into Austin talking about her using I don't know if I can even really talk about it on here or what, but Austin accuses Catherine of using this and being on the spiritual journey that he is describing as harmful to their relationship, and accuses her of basically cheating on him.
She was telling me how one moment she feels like she's a psychic. The next moment she felt like she was a healer. The next moment she turned me into a mermaid. I was being as supportive as I could. She even went as far as telling me that she was the reincarnated Virgin Mary. You guys put yourself in my shoes, and if your significant other told you that they were the Virgin Mary and no longer wanted to have sex with you, what would you do? So as she was getting more connected to the spiritual side, we started growing further apart. And it was really sad because our conversations were only about spirituality. This is where, during this process and her going out, traveling and going on retreats, she found somebody. And I came across their messages and I didn't know what to make of it. I couldn't comprehend it, I couldn't understand it. But she told me that they were friends that met through their spiritual journey on one of these retreats. Just friends. Here are the messages that I came across that I didn't know what to think of it. And that's why I took her word and believed her, because I had no idea what it meant. What does that mean? What type of language is that? No idea. But as time was going on, it started to show that this is somebody that she was connecting with. And unfortunately, when you guys found out, I found out way, way before then.
He then goes as far as to accuse her of kind of just not being safe to be around and wanting their kids to do it when they are the right age, and also being around other people who do with kids.
Decided to do the ayahuasca ceremony and her hosting them at her house, in her home where my kids lay their head. It got so bad. Sorry, I promised myself I wasn't even gonna fucking cry in this video because I'm just angry. It got so bad to the point where good friends of hers came to me and Catherine forced them to do it, just like she forced me many of times, but I turned it down because I didn't believe in it. She forced her friends to do it, and they came to me very concerned because they didn't have a good experience with their ayahuasca. And they said, Austin, I'm very concerned, not only for Catherine, but for your kids, because this is where they sometimes sleep. Random people that come in and out of her house that she doesn't know, that are all participating in this illegal substance together, that are all hallucinating and having all different types of experiences. I knew I really only had two options. Either I get full custody of the kids, or I spend more time with them to protect them. Here is a photo of all of them in Catherine's house, experiencing the ayahuasca journey that they had together. And this boy right here is only 12 years old, doing ayahuasca. Mind you, no one here is a professional.
Now, Catherine's boyfriend has now come out to address the claims by Austin, writing, "What you heard on Snapchat was a mix of misinformation, personal bias, and ignorance, coming from someone who clearly had no real understanding of the topic. They didn't take the time to research, to study, or to speak with any sense of responsibility. Instead, they spoke with prejudice, manipulating the situation for their own agenda. And to you, the hater reading this, you were misled. You didn't take the time to verify anything or do your own research. You created an entire distorted narrative in your mind based on the words of someone who has absolutely no authority to speak on something they don't even understand." He also wrote, "One more thing, the boy in the photo he showed is 17 years old and was accompanied by his parents, who are Kat's closest friends. There's no way a guy that size is only 12. Just take a proper look at the photo." I'm simply going to pop in here to say, I don't know how that makes it any better. 17 is not any better than 12. I mean, 12 is like crazy, but like 17 is still underage, but this whole situation is just so wild. I mean, some are saying, what if they're both exposing each other and it's this plan to become like more relevant again by talking about all of this drama? I'm not sure. I mean, it would explain why he felt so in the right playing that voice recording of Catherine, but there's a lot of people that are also like, why would she agree to be looked at as like a bad parent? The whole thing is just so insane. People are taking sides, but I want to know what you guys think about this whole mess. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.